Welcome everyone. Today we are ranking every NFL team based on how much fun they will be to watch heading into next season. We have the top tier must-see TV, then entertaining, good enough, average, boring, and TV turned off. Our first team is the Saints. I'm going to put them in boring. I like that they have a rookie quarterback. I think for that reason, they don't go in the TV turned off. Not to mention when Chris Olave is healthy, he's a fun receiver. Alvin Kamara, I'm never going to mind watching him. But overall, the Saints team is just not really good and doesn't have a ton of reasons as to why I would watch them. So they're not at the worst tier, but they're not going to be fun to watch next year. The Miami Dolphins, I think they're going to be good enough. It's not going to be a bad time watching the Dolphins, especially if Tua is healthy, Tyreek is catching his 60-yard touchdowns, Jalen Waddle is doing his dance. And it's really a track team from Tyreek, Jalen, Devon Achane, even a guy like Ollie Gordon, who isn't a track star, but is a fun running back prospect who was drafted late this year. I wouldn't mind seeing him play. So the Dolphins, they're not a bad team to watch by any means, but they're not as fun as they were a few years ago because the offense has taken a little bit of a hit. The Baltimore Ravens, they're entertaining. A lot of people think, oh, it's slow AFC North football. I don't want to watch that. But the Bengals, the Ravens, we'll talk about the Bengals next. The Ravens, they have a lot of offensive firepower from Lamar, Derrick Henry. They signed DeAndre Hopkins, who I know is not in his prime, but can still give you some great highlight reel catches. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. And the defense is hard-hitting, too. So even when the Ravens are on defense, it's entertaining to watch them lay out people like Roquan Smith, like Kyle Hamilton. So it's going to go entertaining. It's not going to go must-see TV, because those are for like the most fun teams. But the Ravens are going to be entertaining for sure this year. The Cincinnati Bengals are must-see TV for an NFL team that has one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they're all locked down for the long term. But their defense is just horrible. So every single one of their games is going to be a shootout. You can't tell me that's not must-see TV. The Bengals trying to come back. They're down 35-38 or 42-40. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the Bengals this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the Bengals this year. And so they're in must-see TV. The Denver Broncos, they're going to go into entertaining. I have high hopes for the Broncos team. I think Bo Nix needs to play at least a bit better than last year for this team to be like a legit contender. Their defense is one of the best in the league. They have some good playmakers like Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims. But it's really watching guys like Patrick Surtain, Jahdae Barron, Baron Browning on the defense that make this Broncos team entertaining to watch. And so they're not going to go must-see TV, but they should be entertaining this year. The New York Giants are up. I'm actually going to put them in good enough. I think they'll be decently fun to see. Malik Nabers is a highlight reel. The next Odell Beckham Jr., he's an incredible talent to watch. That automatically rises them from the bottom tiers. But their quarterback situation with Russ, Jameis, and Jackson Dart, that's going to be fun to see. Not to mention they've added some weapons in the draft and free agency. So this is going to be a pretty fun Giants team, even if they're not good. They should still be pretty fun to watch. So they're going to go good enough. The Minnesota Vikings are up next. I'm going to put them good enough. They have a strong defense. But it's not just defense that attributes to entertainment value. It mainly is the offense, unless you're a team like the Broncos. But the Vikings, besides their strong defense, it's really going to come down to J.J. McCarthy. If he is playing like Daniel Jones, where he just can't really throw it deep, doesn't have a great NFL play style, then this team is going to get lowered. But you have guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, you got Jordan Mason. It's going to be at least a decently fun team to watch. They're not as high as a Ravens or a Bengals or even a Broncos in my opinion, but they're still going to be, good to see and worthy of, wasting your time. Not wasting your time, but like using your time to watch a Vikings game. The Rams are going to go must-see TV. It's Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams. I like Tyler Higbee too. Not to mention on their defense, Jared Verse is one of the most fun young defenders in the league. He gives back that 2000s type of mentality for edge rushers that you like to see guys have in the league. So I really like this Rams team. I think they're going to be tons of fun to watch. They're going to put up points, and they're going to tell you that they're putting up points. They're not afraid to trash talk, which I love. It's what the NFL needs. Must-see TV. The Buccaneers are also going to go must-see TV. First of all, Baker Mayfield by himself is must-see TV, but this offense is insane. You have Bucky Irving, who's a legend, Mike Evans, a legend, Chris Godwin, hopefully he recovers from his rough injury last year, and Emeka Egbuka, fun rookie from Ohio State, and not to mention Jalen McMillan. You have the tight end, Cade Otton. The O-line has gotten better, and the defense has young studs, so this is another must-see TV team. The Lions are going to go in entertaining. They're one of those teams that it's kind of hard to tell because they lost some guys that made them entertaining, like a Ben Johnson who coached and made those great plays for Detroit that made the Lions so entertaining in the first place. But hopefully they still have their fun plays. They have all the talent in the world. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and that's not even the start. So the Lions are always going to be entertaining, at least with this core that they have right now. The Bears, I'm going to put the Bears in good enough. I'm a little bit hesitant because I was glazing them last offseason. This offseason, I'm going to keep it in a little bit. Just wait and see that they are legit before I start glazing again. But Caleb Williams, one of the most talented quarterback prospects we've seen. Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, the tight end hybrid of Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden. There's just so many weapons on this team where it's kind of hard for them not to be at least a little bit entertaining this year. The 49ers, I have them in average. It's hard to tell with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk because they're all coming back from pretty serious injuries last year. I think except George Kittle. I don't think Kittle got hurt, but for sure McCaffrey and Ayuk. And Brock Purdy, I'm going to keep it real, is not the most entertaining quarterback to watch in my opinion. They're not going to be bad to watch. I wouldn't mind watching them, but they're not going to be the most fun to watch either because their roster is just more depleted than it's ever been in the Kyle Shanahan era. So I have them in average. Eagles are tough. I'm going to put them in good enough. Some people might think this is too low. The reason why I have them here and not must-see TV is because they're going to be blowing teams out. I don't want to see the Eagles winning by 20 every single game. That's not must-see TV. Teams like the Ravens, the Bengals, the Rams, the Bucks, they're all going to be in a lot of games this year, a lot of close games with offense. The Eagles might just shut teams out this year. So that's not going to be super entertaining. But Saquon, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you can't deny that group. The Raiders are actually going to be pretty entertaining. I'm not going to put them with the Ravens and the Broncos and the Lions yet, but Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers, that is a very interesting offensive group that, gives me interest into this Raiders team for the first time in a while. And Max Crosby, one of the most entertaining defensive players in the league as well. Green Bay, I hate to say it, it's going to sound biased coming from a Bears fan. It's just going to be a little bit boring. I don't know. Jordan Love is not a great NFL quarterback. He's not bad by any means, but he's not one of the best in my opinion. Josh Jacobs is a great runner, but he's not the most flashy. Their receivers, no one really notable in their receiving core. And so it's just a team that I don't think has turned the TV off. You'll keep the TV on, but they're a team that you have on because you're watching another team that you like more play, or you're going to do another activity whilst the Packers are on. That's kind of how I see them. They're not turn the TV off, but they're not going to be a lot of fun to watch either. The Commanders, they're going to be must-see TV. Jaden Daniels, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin. I mean, they were must-see TV last year. No reason for me to change them this year. The Arizona Cardinals, they'll be average. Kyler Murray has his plays. Marvin Harrison Jr. will level up this year. Trey McBride is a top tight end in the league. And I really like their rookie from last year, Trey Benson. He didn't get a ton of usage at the running back position last year. But if they use him more, I think he can be a stud. But besides those guys, there really isn't a ton of entertainment value on this Cardinals team. They're not going to be anywhere near turn the TV off, but they're not going to be a lot of fun to watch either. So average is fair for them. Steelers are going to be good enough this year. They're usually towards the bottom because their offense is bad. I still think their offense will be at least like mediocre. But you have Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf who are going to put a lot of intrigue into the team. Those are two guys that you got to tune in and see play. Because especially for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you never know if it's going to be his last game. You know, he could retire any season at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last. So that's why I feel like every game you kind of have to check in, at least for a little bit, to see what's going on with Rodgers and the Steelers. But I think that's a pretty reasonable take. The Bills are going to go into average. Look, Josh Allen is crazy talented. He's a ton of fun to watch. It's kind of the same thing with the Eagles, but worse for the Bills. I think they're going to be blowing a lot of teams out too. But the Bills usually find a way to blow out teams more than the Eagles do. And the Bills don't have as many playmakers as the Eagles. So overall, just a bit less entertainment value. Now, if the Bills are playing a team like the Chiefs, like the Ravens, then it goes straight to must-see TV. But throughout the entire NFL season, the Bills will blow a ton of teams out that no one wants to watch. Like, I don't think we want to watch the Bills beat the Jets 40-17. I don't think anyone wants to see that. So I'm going to put them in average because they have those games like Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Bills, but there's not a ton of those games. So it goes average. Falcons are going to be entertaining this year. They have a ton of offensive weapons. I could name them all, but really the three guys to point out are Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London. Those three guys alone can give you entertainment value for a lifetime. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Because I really want to see the Falcons be a playoff team again. I like the Bucs more than them, so I want to see Tampa win the division. But I'd like to see Atlanta make a wild card appearance. Because I root for them, I root for that city, and I think there's just a ton of talent on that team that has been kind of put to waste the past few years. The Seattle Seahawks, they're going to be average. Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, JSN, Kenneth Walker, that's pretty interesting, but I don't think it's going to create the most fun football to watch. It's never going to be, football where I have to check out what Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp are doing on the Seahawks. It's never going to be like that, in my opinion, but it's never going to be like, why are you playing the Seahawks game? No one's going to really say that at you unless they're a diehard for only their team. But overall, the Seahawks are not going to be bad to watch. They're not going to be great to watch either. The Patriots are going into entertaining because Drake May now has Stephon Diggs, weapons from the draft, an improved O-line. This Patriots team is just a lot better than last year. Now, obviously, the Bills are a lot better than the Patriots. Same thing with the Eagles. But I have the Patriots above both of them because I think they'll be in a lot more closer games than both of those teams that are below them. And I think the Patriots have more potential for growth because the Eagles and the Bills have already kind of hit their ceiling of being one of the best teams in the league. Patriots were one of the worst teams in the league last year, so they have a ton of potential to grow. And I think that's a big reason why they're going to be entertaining this year. Browns are going to be good enough entertainment-wise, depending on the quarterback they have. If it's Kenny Pickett, we could just put them here. If it's Joe Flacco, I'll put it in entertaining. If it's Dylan Gabriel, average. And if it's Shedeur Sanders, I hate to say it, but it's must-see TV. You might be wondering, why do I hate to say it? Everyone's going to call me a glazer if I say that. But Shedeur Sanders is must-see TV for the NFL. I'm going to split the difference and put them in good enough. It just depends on who they play at quarterback. That's entirely going to decide where they rank in this tier list. The Texans are going to be average. I don't know how good they will be this year on offense. Their offense was pretty boring last year. The Texans became one of those teams that won 20-13, 20-17, 23-20. And those are not the games that I like watching personally. I like teams that score 30 points a game. I know, it's going to be, oh, you don't care about defense. I do care about defense, but I don't want to see a team score 17 points or 20 points every single week and never have that breakout. If the Texans are like the version they were 2 years ago, they'd be a lot higher. But I just don't know if they will be that. The Chiefs, they're always going to be good enough. I know the refs, and I know people don't like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, whatever it may be, but they're always going to be fine enough to watch. It's never going to be bad football. It's always going to be consistent with them. I'm never going to mind watching the Chiefs. Up next, we have America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to put them in entertaining. They're a team that has a strong offense year in and year out. The reason why they didn't last year is because Prescott was hurt for a majority of the season. And not to mention they got George Pickens, who is one of the most entertaining players in the NFL. So that makes them an entertaining team, even though a lot of people don't want to admit it because they are the Cowboys. We have the Chargers. I'm actually going to put the Chargers in boring. Look, I don't hate the Chargers. I'm not a Chargers hater. But I have them in boring because if they do the same thing they did last year, then it's just not going to be fun to watch. I like when Herbert throws the ball 30 times a game. It's not sustainable, and it's not going to win them games week in, week out, like the method they used this year is. But when they run the ball 30 times a game, it's just not really what I'm into, personally. And it's not the most fun for NFL fans to watch. The New York Jets are going to be good enough. I think Fields and Garrett Wilson are going to be one of the best QB receiver duos in the entire NFL. But besides those two guys, the team is pretty depleted. You do have Breece Hall. You do have a couple other weapons as well, like Tyler Conklin. But besides Fields, who one of the most entertaining quarterbacks in NFL history because of his rushing ability, and Garrett Wilson, who was a stud with Fields at Ohio State, there's not much going on for the Jets. The Panthers are going to be... They're going to be good enough. I have a lot of teams in good enough. But I think the Panthers are one of those teams that are going to improve a lot this year. Not as big of an improvement as the Commanders, but I could see them getting the 8-9 wins. I think Bryce Young is going to play a lot better like he did in the second half of the season last year. I think Ted McMillan is a very good, fun rookie receiver. And I think Xavier Legette upgrades a lot as well. Titans are going to go average. Cam Ward looks like a really entertaining quarterback to watch. There's just not a ton of weapons here, besides Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley, that make this Titans team, in the good enough, in the entertaining. They'll be fine to watch. I wouldn't mind watching them just because of Cam Ward alone. But it's not going to be a team that I would ever go out of my way to see. The Colts are going to be, I think, pretty boring. Either Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. That quarterback room doesn't sound really entertaining to me unless Richardson plays a lot better. I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Pittman. I think Molly Cox is kind of an underrated tight end. But the Colts are going to be one of the least entertaining NFL teams, in my opinion. And finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to put them in entertaining. You have Travis Hunter, two-way phenom from Colorado. Brian Thomas Jr. was one of, if not the most fun wide receivers in the league last year, especially for the rookie department, at least tied with Malik Neighbors. Trevor Lawrence can be a fun quarterback. He just has inconsistencies. But hopefully the Jaguars can string together a complete full season, and that would be entertaining. If I had to crown a team the number one must-see, it would be the Bengals. And if I had to put one team in TV turned off, it would be the Saints. So I'll move them there just to fill it out a little bit more. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try to get this video out hopefully before my flight. Hopefully before I leave for my flight, I should say. Because I'm going to be on vacation for the next week. And so I won't be able to get any videos out. That's why I want to just get this one out fast to you guys. So there is some content out there. Because I haven't uploaded in the past few days already. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.